part of our pledge, we said that we would bring up a vote to repeal health care early. That'll happen before the President's State of the Union address. After that, we're going to go after this bill piece by piece.
That was Congressman Fred Upton, the incoming chair of the Energy and Commerce Committee, promising a two-pronged Republican effort to derail the health care bill.
Meanwhile, the president returns tomorrow to that new political order. Battles ahead, apparently over health care, more so than maybe he thought. Spending and, of course, the debt limit. Republican strategist Kevin Madden is a former press secretary to incoming Speaker John Boehner, and Anita Dunn was communications director in the Obama White House. Welcome to you both.
Good to be with you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Kevin, let me start with you on the headlines that were generated off the Sunday shows yesterday. If you're still in your old job with John Boehner, do you want the headlines to be about investigations and relitigating health care, or do you want them to be about spending and jobs and making government smaller? It's
the latter, but I do think that you have to recognize that the public right now is very unhappy with the way Washington is working. So where you use the word investigations, I would use the word oversight, where you would say that they're looking into things that seem to be trivial. I think it's a new era of accountability, and that is what people voted for when they voted for President Obama, but they were very unhappy with his performance. And now you have essentially a new Republican Congress that is bringing an era of accountability and is challenging the status quo. So I think it's aligned with a lot of popular sentiment right now.
So, Anita, what should the White House response be? On the one hand, you could go relitigate the health care debate if that's what Republicans want to take it, or you could ignore the Republicans, say it's the law of the land, and focus on jobs and the economy. What do you think the White House will do?
Well, Savannah, I think it's amusing that the Republicans, having spent so much time in 2010 arguing that the Democrats should be spending more time on jobs and less time on health care, have as their first thing they're going to do spending more time on health care, which is something that's now the law of the land. And they're talking about taking benefits away from people. And I think that that's, starting the year, taking benefits away from people, taking protections the insurance companies now have to give people that people fought for years, right? Having a symbolic vote to take that away does set a tone here. I think that if, the White House has the opportunities here, first of all, to define the health law in a way that it's never been defined before, because now we are talking about taking benefits away from people that they are enjoying, and so that's what the Republicans stand for. And more to the point, I think that the White House has the opportunity to really define the economic argument here, thanks to the Republicans deciding to go down the kind of investigations, take away benefits, and most importantly, abandoning the idea of pay-go for huge parts of the budget.
This week is going to be very ceremonial, and it's going to be symbolic. And some of the first impressions that a Speaker, John Boehner, wants to have with swing voters is going to happen this week, this reading of the Constitution. What is this line here that they have with the Tea Party? Mark Murray used the line earlier. Will the Tea Party get co-opted, or are they going to run the Republican Party? If you're John Boehner, how do you handle it?
Well, look, I disagree with the idea that the Tea Party is separate. I think that, and I don't think the Tea Party is a monolithic organization either. I think it's a reform element within the center-right electorate. And I think what happens now is that the John Boehner, I think if you look at the reactions to the election results, they were studying contrasts. I think the White House had to become dragged kicking and screaming into understanding the electoral mandate that was just given to Republicans. And I think Republicans talked about listening, talked about bringing the government closer to the American public. And they're going to focus on those issues like spending, like deficits, like a smaller government, a more efficient government. And I think that those are all aligned with Tea Party sentiments, but they're also very closely aligned with the big middle of the electorate. Independents care about spending. Independents care about deficits and the size of government. So that gives Republicans some leverage.